I want to say hi again everybody, so I'll say it now. Hi again everybody. How you doing? Welcome, thanks for joining me again. In this video I'm just turning Krita on here, opening that up, and I'm gonna start designing some characters for my new cartoons. Okay, I've got a couple of new cartoons coming up, as in animated cartoons, you know, proper cartoons, and I'm just still, as I say, doing rough sketches for designs for certain characters. What I want to do this time is I want to bring in a couple of these grids. I've got these grids here that these are not features within Krita, these are images that I brought in and turned them into, you know, whatever. They just got lines, it's just grids. Okay, some grids I found online, and I turned them into PNGs. They was like white with black background, but black lines with white background, but what I did is I turned them transparent, you know, and I've turned down the opacity. And the way I did that is I just basically you can find them online or make them yourself, but what I basically did is I went to a thing called extracting lines. There's a way of doing it in this Krita. There must be a way of doing it, but I did this in Alpaca. Alpaca, if you don't know, is another free software. I'll just show you quickly. This is another art software which I love to use, Alpaca, and it's a free art software, and it's very, very good. It's free to use, it's free to download, you know, and it's very good for making comics too, because you can make comic pages and you can make panels and all kinds of cool stuff. This is Alpaca, okay, if you want to know. Can you do animation in this? The question is, can you do animation in this software? You can, but it's not proper. Like, you don't have a timeline or anything and various layers to work with. It just basically turns your layers into frames. But what it does do is it does allow you to have a background behind it. Now I want to say, can you export animation from this? No, you have to record the screen, is what I do for clips, and then put those video clips into video editing softwares and things like that. Now, can you export video clips, animation clips, you know, in Krita? Yes and no. Like, yes, but you have to put, like, you have to download another feature or something, or put it somewhere else, and I've not got my one set up for that, so I just record the screen. But of course I do it. I record the screen for either of these softwares, and I just put the clips into video editing softwares and edit those up and chop them about, and, you know, make my shows that way. And I add the sound and everything, and more video effects on top, and voiceovers which I do myself, and my music which I make myself for it. And I put all the sound effects in and make my shows that way. Let me just show you something really quickly though. Let me show you how you can make comics in this Alpaca, because it's cool how it's actually got a setup for this. You can choose standard or comic when you start a new image. So I'll just choose a basic professional here, comic. Give you a page as you've seen. Just close down that other one here. Okay, and then what you can do is you can go to a thing here where it's layer, and then go on under layer. You go down to add panel material, and I'm not going to adjust the settings for this video, but let's go to OK. And what happens is your cursor automatically changes to this knife thing you'll see down here, and that allows you to split, you know, and make your lines. I'm holding down a shift now on the keyboard to get these diagonal lines if I want to do it that way, you see, and I can just cut them up and have some fun, you know, and you can just do your comics and stuff. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Again, basically just covering what I said. Let's just start a new standard project here. Close that down. If I did want to do animation, as I say, let's just add a quick background in. Okay, a really quick one. Oh, excuse me. I'll just add a quick background in. Okay, so let's just pretend we're doing a scene now. It's strange when you've been using a different software for a while and you go back and use other ones, you know. So I'll just do that, just put some trees in the back or something, you know, nothing spectacular, you know. Just do a little house or something there, paint a little house in, yeah. something like that, you know. I don't know. And there you go, little house there. Okay, put a door on it. Do a little back area as well, shall we? Further back there, shadow under there. Okay, and there's a little house. Let's say, okay. And now let's just say then, okay, the sun's shining in the sky. Oh, hang on, sun there. It's a bright sun. Okay. Put some light, cloud reflect, shade or whatever, shadows and stuff. Put a bit of this on there. Put a little path, shall we? A little path. I don't know why the hell I'm doing so much detail on this rough picture here. So it's crazy. Get carried away sometimes, you know. Okay, so let's imagine, okay, that we got this, and I want to do some animation. So what I can do is I can go on another layer, add another layer, you see, to show you really quickly. I'm just going to draw a rough stick figure for this one, as I say, you know. Let's imagine that this guy here is here, and he's going to walk over here, and he's going to he's not going to follow the path along. He's just going to walk into this, towards the house. Okay. So I'm just going to do a rough stick figure like that. I'm not going to draw a proper thing, you know. And I'm going to go to here, go to view. It's under view, and go down to onion skin mode. Now what happens is it turns your layers, literally your layers in the layers thing, into frames, and it plays through the frames to show the animation. And what you do is you record the screen to get the animation, or you can go through their website and do this. There's a thing on there. I forgot what it's called now. Duga something. I don't know. It'll ask you if you want to do that, and it gives you like the option to go through their website and somehow, whether it's free or paid, I don't know, free or paid, but you can do GIF animations, but I don't do that anyway. But now as you can see, you know, the same thing happens. So when you got these like onion skin mode, every time I add a new frame, you see, it's showing the previous frame in a red sort of shape. So but the thing is, now we can't see the background, right? So what we want to do, if you want to see the background, always remember that the bottom most layer in your layers stack is now the first frame. Remember, you have to be under this view, and you have to have onion skin mode selected, and this ticked as well, display the next and previous frame. Usually the previous frame is like coloured red, and the next frame is coloured green. And now look at this one, there's one that's not checked here. Always display the first frame. So let's click that one. Okay, so that's clicked now. Okay, and now if I choose, see, now when I go to my other layers, it's always going to show this first one. The only problem is though, when I go to my next frame, you see for some reason we can't see the first frame of this guy walking. So what we need to do is we need to go down to the bottom frame, this one, first one, and turn down the opacity very light, just so you can just about see what you're doing, and then go to the next frame and you work like that just while you're working. So what I'll do is I'll do this. Let's say the guy's going to walk. See, he's walking in this direction. Okay, and I'll just quickly literally add frames as I go. I'll make this guy smaller as he's walking away there. I know it's not the best animation, but you know, and you just keep adding frames basically. You keep adding layers basically. I'm just literally trying to just do a terrible animation here, I know, but I'm not trying to do a terrible one. But it's like, what are you going to do? You see, and then you go. I'm not trying to do a good one though, am I? So please excuse me for these stupid advertisements coming up on my screen all the time. Okay, so there you are. Okay, and I'm just going to have that for now, and then what you do is obviously you don't want the background to look like this, so when you go down to the first frame and bring that right up again, obviously you're not, then it's going to show everything, obviously. So how to play it is the next question. You go to view and then you go down to autoplay, and there's our animation. I can just drag it out. I can also put it in full screen. Let it play through a couple of times. It does loop, and you let it play a few times, and then what happens is it will start to smoothen out. And so what I would do is usually I would record my screen, or I'd recapture a certain area of the screen, record that and let it loop a couple of times, depending on the length or whatever you're doing, and then you just bring the video clip then into a video software once you've recorded that, and then just cut off the bits you don't need, and then just shape it and edit it. You can put some effects on or whatever. And look down here, we've got high quality set. You can turn that off or on. But you've also got this here, the frames per second, and we've got this set to 10 frames. I can slow this down, or we could speed it up. Remember, if it's very slow, you're going to need more frames if you want to have that speed but have smooth movement. If you have like fast, then it might be too fast. Just work it out gradually what works for you in terms of smoothness and speed. Put that big here, and yeah, and there's your animation. You can do your scenes and stuff. So again, let's say for example this guy, we wanted to have this guy stop in the middle. Let's go to our middle frame here, and let's imagine he walks a certain amount and then he stands here for a while thinking, and then he continues to walk on, and then maybe so we have a pause in between for a certain amount of time. Okay, how do we do that? In Krita we can just add hold frames, so it holds for a certain amount of frames before it continues. But for this one, we need to literally duplicate this frame. So you see where we've got layer 5 selected here. If I just duplicate that a few times, I've duplicated it around 8 or 9, 10 times now already. So let's play that back, and it's just going to play through those frames obviously. So let's play that on autoplay. So he stays there for a while. Let it play a few times through because it needs to smoothen out as it does that. Okay. So you see how he stands there, and then he goes. So he goes, boom, zoom, 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 and then he goes. So he stands there for a moment. You see. Now I may want to, change the speed, as I say, and that's how you do that. But in Krita, as I say, you would use, as I say, hold frames for that, But yeah, you can see what you can do. So Fire Alpaca is good though, because you can do some simple animation in it. Just deleting everything right now, but you can do some animation, and you can do some comics and all that stuff as well. So it's good. Another cool thing about Krita, I mean Fire Alpaca. Sorry, we're talking about Fire Alpaca here. Sorry, Fire Alpaca. Yeah, it's good because you can do comics and animation, as I say. But another good thing is like you got, it's simple, but you've got like these rulers, like here up the top here we've got these rulers which are really good. You've got those different directional rulers which are really good for like either setting up panels or just perspective. We've got all kinds of tools within this software. It's a really good software. I've made some videos in the past which are like tutorials on this software. I'll do some more if you like. But different kinds of different kinds of tools here. See, again for this one here, as I say, don't forget also you can actually change the angles of some of these. So this turning one here, I could click this point and then move my mouse to change the angle. You see, I could have it this way and then do that. Okay, so that's there. We can choose different ones like this. You choose 2 points, 1, 2, I believe, or 2 lines. You make 2 lines, and it gives you this perspective thing. Then you can restart again if you wish to, and then from here it will just go to that point. So you go to that point. You got similar things in Krita, I must say, but it's different. There's another one here. Again, moving the point, you can move the point by clicking that little dot up there to restart again. Please excuse me for these terrible advertisements that keep popping up. Really annoying. Okay. And yes, but this is another one here. So this is a good one because you can have different kinds of perspective or lines and things you might want to have. You know. What else do we have? A spiral, a circular one like this, obviously. You know, and this is good. You might want to do some circles for some reason. You know, we have brush correction up here. This line control. So if your lines are a little bit jagged or wonky, and you want to have nice controlled lines, let's just turn the rulers off a moment by pressing off. You can do nice controlled lines. See, really nice. Whereas if I was to have that, you know, see really high, it slows it down and controls your lines. Whereas if I was to have it like on 0 and I'd be drawing like a circle, it might be really wonky, like shaky if you've got a shaky hand. Got a free hand, you've got different things like this too. Got a lot of features this has. If I have just given you a basic overview, as I say, there's other rulers here. I'm not going to go into those. You've got perspective and other lines and stuff. Anti-aliasing. Have you pronounced that? What else you got? You got a lot of things. I'm not going to show you everything, obviously, but just thought I'd show you that there. You know, just totally forgot what I was. Yeah, so freehand. We've got the pens selected. You've got various pens, obviously, and brushes, as I say. I used to like this brush a lot. There's one brush here, thin to thick. I'm not going to show you that now. But let's just look at this here. If I go here, we can do lines. It's just free. You can do freehand. You can do line, which is like a straight line. Polyline, which is you do a similar thing, but when you let go, it adds more lines when you go again. So then double click to make the line. Same for a polygon. You do that, but you have to join them up. See. So it could be really useful for like certain things. I mean, if you wanted to make like I don't know, some building rooftop or something, I don't know. And then go and and then go back to free. Oh, another thing you can do is you can have freehand selected. This is one problem with Krita. I'm trying to find out how to do it in Krita. I think you can hold. You can click on a point, go to a point, and then press and hold Shift, and then you see it makes a straight line for you, and you can just click and it goes down. I wish I could do this in Krita. I really do. It's a very quick way of doing lines. That's not the perfect perspective there. I know it should be about there, but you know. But yeah, so they're good. Another one you can do is go into rectangle, obviously. So hang on, making a rectangle, dragging to make rectangles. Ellipse, making circles or egg type shapes, whatever. Curve is really great. I like curve. I'll show you curve. What curve does. Curve is a really good one. You click on a point, and then you click again, and then you can move this thing and like bend it. If I click around, it adds a nice, rounded shape, and then you just double click as usual to get rid of it, to set it. You know, it's good stuff. Obviously, we got the basic this thing here. The what do you call that? Gradient tool. So you choose two colours. Let's say you might have blue here. You can switch them obviously around too. You might have blue and red. Just drag that and make a gradient. Good for a start off point for a rough sky maybe. It doesn't have very good blending and brushes in this, sadly. It does have certain brushes, but it doesn't have certain. It's limited in terms of brushes and stuff. But you can do that. You can change it to like different shapes too. Circular, like that. You know, selecting colours what's on the screen. You'd like choose rather than holding Control in this, like Krita. You go to Fire Alpaca. You hold Control. You hold Alt down. Sorry, and click on the if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, hold on. You choose freehand again, sorry. So yeah, you choose Control, you know. Okay. Obviously you can adjust the opacity of the brushes and the size and all the rest of it, you know. Yeah. Again, we'll try the blue. So yeah, there we go. You can do that. What else can you do? You know, basic shapes and stuff like squares and stuff like that. Choosing shapes from up here, polygon or ellipse. Round corners, you can choose that to have rounded corners. So sorry for these terrible advertisements coming up, as I say. You can choose to set from the center point or constrain the proportions and the opacity, which is a good thing. You can do that. I didn't know you could do that. Constrain proportions, yeah, to make them square, like properly square, which would be good for making perfect circles and squares and stuff. Just you can still choose your colours and stuff there. So look at this. I'm working. I'll show you. Look, I choose another colour just quickly. With a low opacity, I'm going from here, and it looks like I'm making a tunnel or something. You see how it's coming in. So let's just go back to normal freehand brush. So you can see how it looks like I'm going from there. I don't know. So you can get really artistic just by using these basic features, you know, to like basically practice. As you get used to doing different shapes, you can get really artistic, you can get practicing, I'm saying, and then it will give you some ideas. I mean, you can sometimes come up with some crazy like designs just for rough stuff, you know. I think what we'll do is we'll get on to what we're doing now. So I've got to go into let's turn that off. Fire Alpaca's got some great stuff in it. It's got some other rulers, it's got some other things you can do with perspective and stuff. Please excuse these terrible advertisements coming up on the screen. Again, I downloaded this the other day to just quickly a little grid thing. So this is good. You've got these kind of grids and stuff, because what you can do is you can bring a grid in like this. Let's just bring that into Fire Alpaca just quickly. You know, obviously you got your freehand cutting tool as well, which I forgot to, as well as your box cutting tool, just move pieces around, you know. But let's just go back to this. So if I was here, see, I might decide, oh, excuse me, I might decide to just go in and start blocking out some basic scenes, you know, for a show. I might have I want to have the first, like a storyboard, you know, storyboard. So I could do that. Like, I want this first scene to have a house or something in it, you know. And I want someone in the foreground here looking towards the house, pointing towards it, maybe talking to his friend or something who's further away. Then the two of them are talking on the screen. It's like, hey, why don't we go there, man? And then the next scene, you get the idea, right? Maybe they're coming up to the steps now of the house. You know, and maybe there's a door there, you know, mysterious door. You know, maybe there's like some banisters or something like that, you know. And you get your viewpoint, and you'd imagine, you just visualize this thing before you actually do the proper thing, you know. You might want to see the roof or something from a different angle, you know. Because the two guys are standing there wondering if they should go in or not. These are the tops of the trees right here. Maybe there's tops of trees. Excuse me. So, to show you what I mean by that. By that I mean, so you got your red house, let's say, bam, steps leading up to the doorway. These two guys here. These two guys talking about it. You know, we've got these steps here, and then, you know, the house is here, and then you got the roof of the house here. And these two guys, we're looking down from the sky, so you can imagine these will be the tops of the trees, let's say here. So we're looking down. You get some visualization, get some ideas. This is something that I might do, you see. yeah, some visualization. Currently actually uploading videos for you guys. Let me just check these videos are ready, coming on nicely. So there's one that's already done, and there's the other one. See what we got. Okay, so whoa, sorry about that. Damn. Advertisements keep popping up all the time, yo. Advertisements galore. And then they should be ready. So let's just check my channel now and just check what videos we've got. Got a lot of videos on the channel now. So if I'm going to just close, I'm going to delete these off my computer because they're all saved. Bang. Good. Check it out. Okay, so going on to the videos here, going under videos. Got all these videos. I've been, how many videos now is that? Let's see. Got quite a few videos uploaded for you guys. There we are. So I hope you're enjoying everything, as I say. Just sharing what I can, you know. And let's just get on with this. So now in this, what I'm going to do is a few quick rough positions, and then we'll work in the next video on more stuff. So Krita's better, as I say. Krita is a much better piece of software. I think in this video I won't go too crazy, but let me just show you something, okay? This is Krita, and I have this grid here, as I say. Oh, I totally forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say there's a feature in Fire Alpaca where you can go to extracting lines, and what that will do is it will separate lines from an image. So I had basically a white image with this black grid on it, you know, and I went to extracting lines and made a few adjustments and saved it as a PNG, and then it got rid of the background, you know, and I just bring it into this. And the reason being is because, you know, I can have a background, like let's say a background, okay, let's just say I paint some background in, okay, a pink sky and a darker pink ground, let's say, you see, put the opacity down a little so we can see our grid. I'll make a couple of copies of that grid there, so I could just literally, if I wanted to, I could just work some perspective there, you know. I could go click this little tool here, this transform layer, and then holding down control I can work that to the horizon, let's say, or bring it, or just turn it into an angle that I feel I want to have, stretch it out, whatever I need to do, you know, whatever, zoom in and out necessary, and then I'll just click anywhere for now, just leave it like that. And then the back one, yeah, as I say, the back one I can I mean I can have it like that, but you know, I could do that. I could just erase, you know, under here I could erase the hold on, these, no, hold on, these on the right layer, you see, to make that make sense there. You see, in fact I could have that. I was gonna change the angle of this, like I was gonna go like something like that to make it on the angle, but I'm not going to bother with that. I mean, look what we've got here. We've got a new thing. If I click off for a second, it will set that. And if I go here, see, you have to make them both full opacity first, and then join them down, merge with layer below, then bring those down. And now we've got a grid I can work with, and I can literally go on another layer if I want to and start, you know, I can just start working with that to create a scene, you know. So let's imagine that this is a road. So this is a good way to get some basic perspective, is what I'm trying to say. So I could do let's imagine, okay, that we've got some kind of, I don't know, some kind of crazy wall or something. Let's imagine we've got some steps here. So we've got some steps here, okay. Okay, just a couple of steps, nothing crazy, right? And yeah, I'm gonna do it like this, okay. You know, I'm gonna have this going across here, so you can do anything you want, literally. So I could do this here. I know I'm really doing this really roughly, I know, but I'm just just showing you basically some ideas, you see. And I know it's really rough, but you know, got this, I could do this, imagining the perspective, as I say. Maybe this is some shop front or something, I don't know. You know, in fact, maybe like this should be better. Yeah, good, okay, let's get that perspective right, see. And then that would be about there. A doorway here, maybe. Window there, some kind of window. And it's like, for some reason it's on a slope, you know, but you could have like anything you want, see. There, okay. It could be about up there actually. Back up there. So that's about, it should be about there really, shouldn't it? But whatever. So that's about there, you know, you get the idea. Okay, good. That's about there. Kind of crazy perspective on this. It should be like a wider steps, I think these should be, but you know, still, you know, you can have this going down there, you know. Could be about there, some kind of fence. You see, you can get really creative with your. See, I could have a tree up there. If I want to have a tree, just do a few little rough shapes and stuff. See, these pieces of this tree. And just do a tree. A few different ones or whatever you want to have. Okay, another building with some thinner lines to show the distance. Another building back there. Let's have a look. Oh, some thicker lines, fair enough. A roof, something like that, you know. Maybe a window, maybe a little door up there or something. We can't see exactly. This goes further back, maybe there. Keep in mind the perspective, I must say, keeping in mind the perspective, okay? From a far away standpoint, I'm saying. Height's got to make sense too, right? And you see, and this could be like a whole different thing. That even from here, we could even from here imagine that this is a path, and then, you know, even from here we could have like some steps going down even further, you see. So this could be about here. We can't see the steps, this is just the railings, okay. Could do another railing here if I wanted to. Maybe on an angle would be better. Yeah, so we can have some railings going down or something like goes down. Maybe you can see the top of that step there. So, you know. Yeah, and it like goes in like that, and then this goes there. And this could be like literally going down, like down that in that direction, you see. You know, on an angle, we're saying on a slope, sorry. Right, it could be one of those roads. You know, I like those roads. You see, let's just do like a little bit of a bush or something here. You know, kind of sign. The sign's got to be straight. Don't forget the sign. Not necessarily, but have a sign here, and some map or something saying where they've got to go, which way. You know, get the idea. Right? But this here, this could be like, I don't know. You could have like more trees or something in back, showing further back there. It goes, you know. Something like that, it doesn't really matter. And then here, and then, you know, as I say, this, I like these ones, you know, these ones you see where they've got like the stones, like you see these in, I see these here in China, and you see them in Japan, I know too, where they have these, probably other places too, but where you have these stone like wall areas that go up these hills. It's just something that I've noticed. I mean, it might be all over the world, probably are. But I've seen them in animes, I've seen them in real photos of Japan, I've seen them around me here in China, all over the place. So you see these, you know, these walls you see with these pieces of stone where it's going down, like sloping down. And you see this on the wall. I always found that fascinating. I don't know, it's like got a characteristic about it, sort of thing, you know. And I mean, you can see already by adding these details in, it just adds some detail to it. Now here you might want to have something too. Hold on, like from here you might want to have some railings or something. You know, some there, that's, you know, to about there. So maybe another a sign or something. I don't know about here. Something's telling me to put a sign in. Well, it should be straight. Sorry, straight. Yeah. So there. Just designing so we can't see behind there, obviously. So, you know, there. Yeah. So that's that. And then you can start thinking about where your people go. Now you might want to have this here, so you might have like a bit of a side bit or whatever you want to have there. You may want to have that. You don't have to. There. You know. You may want to put road lines or whatever in. I'm going to put a little line here. I don't know why. I'm just putting some lines on the road, just to give some perspective. There's no reason for it. Following those lines too. Put little windows there. Put a big sign up maybe here. See, and we can put some more things in the background, like some rough shapes to show there are buildings there or something. Something like that. You see. Put some words or whatever on there you want to have. Window designs, whatever you want to have, and just put your detail in. Really rough stuff, I know, really rough, but you get the idea. Might want to put some more detail lines on the steps and stuff. Might want to put more on that door. And then and then, as I say, what you do is you get rid of your guidelines, and you're left with something. You can like turn this down a little bit, see, if you want to. And you can start doing different things. Like I could go under my line art now and start adding some colours in and stuff. So let's just imagine we're going to do that. Okay, let's just put it in. You know, I can, let's say, make like we're going to do it on different layers. So you know, it works. You see, now there's a lot of things that I could do, but I just don't. You know, I don't put time in to do it. But there's a lot of things that I know I could do, like creatively. I'm going to just paint it, block in the basic shapes first of all, okay? So I know this is a grey sort of colour. Doesn't have to be perfect, you know. First I'll just start off basically. I could have put some more detail here on this side bit, I must say. But sometimes you add more shadow and stuff and it works as well. You know, as I say, this is the same sort of thing here. I'll colour this whole thing a grey sort of colour anyway. This, you know, if you want to work with rulers and stuff, you can do that. If you want to work with rulers, you know, you get the idea of the kind of thing I'm trying to say, right? Some more whiter sort of colour steps in there. I just want to do that. Something's telling me to do that. I don't know why. And again, like when you have these sort of like contrasting colours, it you know, they stand out. Put this here. I'm not going super clean. I'm just doing it rough here. Remember, you can bring down your colours if they're a bit too strong, if you feel. I'm going to put this here, hang on. Yeah. Put this here. Okay. I'm doing it rough. I'm doing it fairly rough, I must say. I'm painting this here. Just doing it really rough just to show you here. You know, what ideas I'd have. So, I'm going to do a lot of white, like, you know, fence here, right? White railings there. Okay, it's not perfect, I know, but I'm just saying, I'm bringing that down a bit again further, just so you can see what we're doing. I'm going to have white for the lines as well. Like I could have maybe a slightly grey or something, I don't know. Yeah, for that. You know, what else can I have? Maybe a bit of another sort of colour for this part here, just to separate that a bit, you see, on the side bits here, and again this bit up here, the top bits here, just to make it nice and clear. Again, these bits I want to have these a bit darker, as I say. See, again, you can go with certain colours. You might want to go like a more I've seen them like in a yellowish kind of colour. I don't know, I'm just going with from just my memory here. Yeah, you see, I'm saying it's kind of like, I don't know, cementy sort of thing. Just going really rough. As I say, it's really rough. I can't stress that enough. It's just going across a few lines here. So I'm not even going over every line. So and that's okay, you know. Got another layer on top now. I'm just adding different things in. So the sky, I'm just going to leave the sky pinkish anyway, as I say. Just going to go over certain areas here. Okay. The goal is not really. The goal wasn't really to do this image, as I say. Really, you know, the goal is just to do a simple picture in this one. Just to show you some other different designs I was going to do with characters and stuff, but I'm doing this now, as I say. You know, that door I've done a bit wrong there, I think, but whatever. Have it this sort of colour. Could be different colours, you know, to break things up, like a bit of red or something, or blue would be better maybe. It's like certain things here or there, you know. This again here, I can see that I've kind of oh, hold on. We'll fix this up later on. I'll just say that. I'll say that way. Okay, fix that up later on. The areas that I've gone over there, like, you know, that's a very bright. Strong blue there. You know, the blue for this. I don't know why I've gone with blue, but you know, you can see how it gives a difference. So we'll have some blue in the scene maybe. Let's introduce some blue. White for this, as I say, on top of this, way too strong I think for this fence, but whatever, it's showing something there. You can do different areas too if you want to go along the way and, you know, do some different things there. You can do that. Much more pale blue now for these things in the background, or slightly darker as well, I think. These things in the background here. Okay, and the same for these shapes. I'm going to paint the trees in a moment. Lastly, okay, I'll do those trees. I'll come with a green. So we can do the ones further away from us are less prominent as such, you know. Ones closer are more defined, you know. And once you start putting the shadows in and stuff, you can get some real detail. Now obviously you can see I'm rushing with this. It's very rushed, you know. But you know, you get the idea though, right? So get the idea, yo. My favourite saying, isn't it? Let's make these steps slightly darker, I think, over here. Similar, same sort of colour actually. But you know, it's just working there somewhat, you know, just separate that from the front bit there. You know, I'm just going to go over these windows here, I think, while I'm here. I'm going to do it that way. Leave some little light areas as well. Doors and windows and whatever. Just fill those in. Put some white or something there for the door, I think. Yeah, something like that. And what I'll do is I'll just soften that up a little bit. Let's well, sorry, wrong layer for a start. Let's go to the line layer. Soften the line layer. I'm gonna. So you want to keep some of the lines. You can like erase certain lines and things to clean things up, see if you want. But I'm just going to merge. I'm going to flatten the image. Now I can start taking from that and cleaning things up. So full opacity. Carefully though, because we don't want to go over the lines necessarily. I might want to sometimes go over the lines, like I might go here and start painting. I might choose the brighter colours and start painting, cleaning things up, you see, like this. Or turn it more into like a painting type of thing. You could do that, you know, painstakingly, but you know, do certain things there with that. But let's just have some fun and make it simple. Let's just duplicate this. I'm going to go to here and bring down the levels, or play with the levels a little bit. Let's see what we got. Yeah, see like this for example. Bring that below and then start working with some shadows now, right? So erasing things. I'll make these actually shadows. So we'll imagine that the shadow's coming from below, and now you can see immediately we start seeing some depth, some goddamn spirit in this thing, you know. Start seeing some spirit in it now. Obviously, remember in the shadows that are further away wouldn't be as strong really, but we're just doing what we can here. I want to put this in shadow, this little area. I want to make that darker. There, again under this tree, you see how I love this. You bring out the shapes of the trees and everything nice, and you see. And this obviously. And this is something I really wish I'd do more of. Maybe I should. What do you think, guys? Tell me in the comments if you think I should do more of this stuff. Okay, I'm going to put these in shade a little bit, you see, in shadow, these steps, you see. And you know, I can put this in the shadow maybe even more so, I don't know. Got a full opacity on this eraser right now. I'm thinking what I could do is I could bring it down slightly in a moment. Okay, bring it down. I didn't colour the tree branch things in, did I? The trunks. What I can do is imagine where shadows are coming from. So the shadows in this one are going straight down. Basically, that's what I've got my idea about. See there. But you could have had the shadows in different ways. I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to just basically can put some other details on. Don't forget too. Like I could go on top here. Let's just merge that first. Merge it as one. You could spend much more time and make this into a new, make it into a really detailed, do a real detailed picture if you wanted to. You can like start doing little lines, like I'm doing like light colour, like whitish lines and things, you see, to like show detail on the roads and stuff, or a bit of shading, I don't know, you know what I mean, just to give some, I don't know, some shapes and stuff to it. So that's that. So you don't have to go crazy. And again, like things like some dark as well. You could go with some dark and like do some like things here and stuff. See, look, is it shadow? Is it detail? I don't know. But you know, things on the walls here, a bit of dirty. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? To give it a bit of a, sort of saying, give it a bit of a painted sort of thing to it. And I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to, yeah. I'm not going to do it this way though. I'm going to merge that down now. Make a duplicate of this layer, go to levels. You could have gone to adjustment curve, but I'm going to just make a really dark one of this one, a darker version of this one. Okay, bring that down below, go with a low opacity eraser and just start erasing certain areas to show where there's some more shadow down below here. See, so for example here, see, it's like darker down below, it just makes it a bit more depth to that there, you see. Do certain areas as well, like here. I should have had an eraser, silly me. No wonder it's not working too well. Let's see. Start erasing now. Okay, it's okay. Yeah, that's better. Low eraser, silly me. Okay, there, erasing certain areas. Okay. Okay, there we go. Erasing certain areas, okay, and then again on the road here, so even doing a bit of that, you start to see where you want the dark and the light, you see. Again on this here, you might want this a bit darker anyway. On the back of there, if it's, you know, it is what it is sort of thing. And again here, definitely on here, on this side of this. If you're not too happy with it, as I say, you know, you can do different things. You can bring that down even further. Put in a little bit of depth here, see, a little bit of shading and such on it, see. Okay, it's here. To do that now, bring that down slightly a bit further even. That's way too much there, so we just balance it out a certain way. Merge, flatten that layer. It's not perfect, as I say. Another thing you'll notice is the lines. I mean, the lines are. there's a lot of lines. I could have cleaned up these lines and done a much nicer drawing in the beginning and not had thick lines also all the way through. I could have just cleaned it up. I'm going to just choose different colours and just paint as we go along. Hold on. Okay. Oh, excuse me. What the hell's going on here? Okay, hold on. Okay, let's go now. I'm going to start doing certain things. So from here I can paint in that green. I could go over certain lines, you see, certain lines, just cleaning, not getting rid of all the lines, but getting rid of certain lines. You know, like just cleaning certain things. Like, you don't have to. It depends on what you feel you need to do. This is not the efficient way to do it too. The best way would actually be to draw everything properly first of all, and maybe erase what lines you need to erase from your rough sketch, or work different you know, thicknesses and stuff as you go, I'd say, or just go all out and do a straight painting. You know, simple as that. You know, but simple as that. But you know, yeah, it's the thing. So I'm just going in, cleaning this up. See a bit here. See, it looks better maybe when it's like more painted. You see, anyway, it depends what you want to do. Pretty does, you know. So I want to make it less of a drawing in some respects. I'll say it that way. Make it more of a painting in certain ways. See what I'm saying? From there, just makes it a bit more realistic. But the thing is, you may want to have certain, you say, certain amounts of line art, because that even shows like certain shadow in general. I mean, even the background here, let's see, you may want the shadow, the things to stand out, but is it really necessary to have all those lines? Like, some may be necessary actually to have, but you know, some not so much. See, like, it's like, you see, look, we're able to still tell the story. It depends, you know, what we're trying to do. We want to clean things up, as I say, a little bit, and again go over certain things. Remember also that the dark, you know, the dark shows the light and the light shows the dark, right? So in a moment we're going to go with some more details. Okay, I'll show you. Just colouring this up here now. Some areas that we missed before. See, just cleaning it up as I go. Okay, areas here. So I could do a similar picture to this in a more painted way, and I think I might have a go at that in another video where we're just literally painting. Not to say that it's the best way. I mean, I like to do both. I like drawing. You might want a kind of comic-y look as well, you know. As I say, put some little highlights here for the steps, okay, and things. Again, you may want a bit of a shadow there underneath there, as I say, right? So you should really work things out in your own way, I think. You know, there, a bit of darkness to balance things out. You see, certain things to balance things out. You know, yeah. You might want to put some words. Now, I can't write. I can speak Chinese, but I can't write Chinese or Japanese. But I can do a few little scribbles and stuff, and that might be looking like some kind of words in the back there. Could be any language, but I'm just saying, you know, like just something there to look like in the distance, you know. Sometimes I just do my own little scribbles and stuff anyway. I just don't care, you know. Let's put something here, or see my initials. Let's have that, shall we? Okay. Put some little clouds and stuff in the background if you want to put some clouds, like just faint ones, not too detailed, just some little things to give it some perspective, and already that does help, you can see. Which are final touches. I'm going to just quickly give it a bit of a blur, just really quickly, a very soft blur, just give it a test. Nothing too crazy, that's a bit over the top, I think. A little bit of a blur. That is cheating, as I say, in some way, but we didn't give much of a blur there. I'm going to just paint over there some of these lines and just clean up, as I say. You know, what I'm going to do now also is I'm going to is I'm gonna let's just play with the brightness a little bit quickly. Adjust levels, play with the brightness a little bit. See, sometimes you don't want such strong contrast. You can do certain things, you see, like bringing it like that, and just make, yeah, you see, like you think like that, it looks a bit better. Working it a certain way. I'm going to show you some things in a moment too. You just choose a lightish kind of grey colour, go on another layer and some different opacities and stuff, and just start to paint in some little highlighted areas on some of these stones. Remember, it's the same thing too, really. You want more detail in the foreground and less in the background, you know, really, you know what I mean? So to show off all the shapes of everything, that's what you really want to have. Remember we started off this perspective by using those grids, you know, the grids, remember? So that's that, you know, and that was nice, you know, how we did that, set this perspective up, because otherwise I wouldn't have had the idea in my mind anyway to do that. I was actually going to have some characters in this scene at first. I was going to have some someone walking up a hill. I was just going to trying to show you like something like that, you know. I'm just going with some light colours here, just literally filling in different areas of these. Not every single stone, but like enough to like bring it out, you know. And as I say, you didn't have to go with this colour scheme even necessarily. You could have had a different time of day if you wanted to, or things like that. It's not too late to put final little details into. Like I could still go in here and just do some like little panels or something that I want to do, you know, something like that. Like remember where the shadow's going to go and stuff, you know. Do things like that. You see, behind the back there, you know, little shines there. It's like metal paneling or something. Put that down. And then, you know, other things like you might want to put some little cracks in there and stuff. Sorry, in the black. So put in some lines or something there. Some different kind of things, like a little line or something along there. Depends, really depends what you want to have. You know. Was that a bad or a good idea? I don't know, but anyway, and then merge this whole thing now. Merge flatten image. I can do certain things. I can let's think about this. Play with the adjustments quickly. Color curve adjustments. Don't have to do that. I could do that. I could duplicate it. Make a duplicate of that. Bring this one down a bit if you want to do it that way. Give it a soft eraser. I'd say use a spray type brush. Turn it into an eraser. An eraser. Low to mid opacity sort of thing. Things further away from us are lighter, they say, and like less detail, right? So I don't know. These are just things you got to remember. Like just make sure it looks a bit more realistic to you, but still at the same time you want to make sure it looks nice. I don't know, you got to work it your own way, you know. It's a case of just merging that down and then repeating the process sometimes, you know. Oops, excuse me. And you can just adjust the colours a little, saturation and stuff, and you know, do different things, and you'll see certain things working differently for you, you know. So I'm just going to go here. See, just doing that now. Just adjusted the levels a little bit there. I just did. And you know, you want to do certain things, like you could bring the sky a bit lighter. You could like put some glows and stuff, adding some glows in. Like I could go to here, choose a colour, make another layer, maybe go to hard lights, and then use a soft spray. So you bring that out, brings that a bit brighter. But the thing is, it's not really that time of day, so I don't really want to have that. It looks alright, it looks okay. You could have change it, go for orange or something. you know, and it brings a bit of warmth into it. It depends what you want to do, you know. You could do that, see it goes over the whole thing. That gives it. I could give this a bit of a wash there and see what I want to come up with. Just test different things, you know. I'm just going to merge that down just as it is, just see what that looks like. Go to colour adjustments. Turn that right up if you wanted some crazy colour. A bit crazy, right? Bring it more down, make it look a bit more realistic. Change the hue if you really want to. Try that. Doesn't always look good though. See, it looks bad straight away. And but then, you know, just playing around with things till you get what you're trying to get. As I say, it's not great. It's not the best one, I know. And you can like try different things, like going into like turn the saturation all the way down and see what you got. You want to go over. You could go onto the color overlay and then go to another layer, overlay, sorry, on another layer, and just start painting again. Just painting colors on, and it will follow the same what you've got there, the values you've got there and stuff. But this looks like you know, it looks more nicer when you got like, looks more realistic when you got like lower saturation sometimes. But it's like more color looks more realistic and more better, nicer, you know. But you know, we've done a few things here, and it's coming on. You may want to make like give it a blur in the background, a slight blur in the background sometimes too. I'll do that. You know, if I'm going to save this one as it is, let's just press tab quickly to show you on full screen what we've got. And there's the image. Basically, that's what we've got for this one. So I didn't actually do any characters in the end, did I? I just showed you some stuff in Krita, in Fire Alpaca, and then I've done this picture here in Krita. Okay, but as I was saying, you know, you could work different things. As I say, you know, you could. If I wanted to, I could go here now. Let me just save this quickly as an image. It's a rough image, but you know, it's an image. I'm going to save this quickly. If it hasn't crashed already. Give it patience. Give it some time. You know, we need to have a lot of, you know, patience with tech, don't we? Right? And I think tech needs to have a lot of patience with us sometimes, don't you? Now, let me just show you something, okay? If you don't have to destroy this image by adjusting anything on it, okay? You don't have to do that. Let me just wait for this to save here. You don't have to do that, okay? But what you can do is you can add another layer on top, another layer, when you want to figure out where your characters are going to go. I'm saying, I'm not going to have characters in this scene. I'm just saying you can literally like just cover the whole layer. Let's say in a color, another layer. Go onto another layer, then make that faint, like very faint, so you can just about see through it. You see, I'm using white. White is great, and then you go onto another layer on top of that, and you can basically just start drawing in or planning where your figures are going to go, your characters. You know, so you might want to go for a certain colour, just blue or black or whatever it is. You know, just work. Okay, I want a character here carrying some shopping or something. Maybe a mother pushing a baby's pram, you know, baby's buggy up the you know, up the hill. Excuse me. See, so there you are. This is a mother, let's say, you know. And then you may have somebody else here, some runner or someone walking down, or something you want to have, someone up here maybe. It depends what you want to have, you know. So, but what I would do is I would go in, I'll do that like a rough sketch first. You can do all your stick figures and all that stuff if you want to. I could do some crazy dude up here sitting on top of this, some crazy punk kid or something sitting on top of that, another kid leaning up against that, you know. If you want to have 3 parts of the body, you can. 2, one for the torso, one for the hips, one for the head, or you can just literally just do the circle, as I say, like literally do a circle for the head and a circle for the body, like that. Do the legs. It's up to you. If you want to have 3 parts, like here and then this, up to you. The legs are going to be behind that bar, don't forget. But you know, I mean, you can have all kinds of stuff. Imagine that there he's laying up against it, you know, punk kid, you know. His legs over there, the other leg maybe on top of this bar or whatever, or maybe let's just say his legs behind that there. No, he don't give a damn. Maybe he's just looking at his phone or something. He's holding his phone down beside him, let's say. And I could just start doing that, you know. Let's just say that's the back of the guy there. You know what I mean? And what I would do then is I would literally turn those, make this layer now faint. And if I feel it's really distracting seeing the background, I can turn the visibility of the background off anyway. And I can bring this up if I want to. And then make this one fainter, and then I can add another layer on top. And then just start drawing properly. Or you can work as many layers as you want till you're happy with the art you've got, you know. So I could do this here. You know, I could do this rough. I'm going to do a very rough scene, you know. Okay, there's a mother, a young mother, or whatever. I don't know, maybe she's the... I'm drawing all the details in as I go, you see. Maybe she's the somebody else in the family pushing the buggy, you don't know. You may not be happy with the actual heights and stuff, or anything about the character. I can make her shorter or whatever and change as I go. She's got a big handbag hanging right there, or some bag so low. I'm just going to go with this just because I've done it this way, so I thought I'd just, you know, do that to show you. This leg's like obviously more in front. And then this leg could be behind a bit over there. Just do a rough one first. You can fix those legs up later if you're not happy with them. I'm just doing a rough one just to show you, you know. And this is here. The baby's buggy. The baby's buggy. Okay, there. It's not too great, I know. Little compartment there at the back, maybe. This part here for the babies, the kids' feet. Put him there. Something like that. It's not great, I know, but you know, and I can draw up here and draw these punk suckers in. Remember, I may need to see the background now. I may need to do that because I may need to turn everything on because I need to see exactly where things go. So I need to, you know, because I know that he's sitting on this behind. We can't really see the guy's legs, so but I need to know where things are. His elbows about there. His hands about there. So it's pretty straightforward, this one. Bottom of his top there. Okay, that's that. He's got, you know, whatever it's going to be. I'll give him some hairstyle. Okay, the back of his jacket, whatever it's going to be. Put something there on the back. This is some guy here, as I say, holding on. I'm not going to draw every finger and stuff, but you know, he's got a hoodie or something there, you know. Shoulder about there. Oh, that's wrong. That goes about there, right. It's not the best proportions, they're kind of stretched out and stuff, I know. But, you know, at least I'm just showing you the basic thing. See, now he's basically leaning against this, is supposed to be somewhat, you know, but the idea is that, you see that foot's there, you see, the other like legs further away from us. Can't really see that part, a bit of that maybe. I'll just give him some rough here. We don't need to draw the faces in. I'm just going to do his head's looking the other way, let's say. Don't know why he's leaning like that. You get the idea. Now if you don't like certain things, as I say, you can go, because we're on this same layer, I can just literally cut this out and, you know, change things. I can literally change the angle a little bit, which I don't need to do. I don't think I can stretch it. I was going to say, like, stretch it like that, put it a bit more up on the angle if I want to do it that way. But I think it was okay that what we had there, you know. I think I will save this one as an image. We'll see as we go. Once you're okay with that, click away. as I say, I can deselect. I can turn off. I can get rid of these scribbles now. We don't need to have these ones. Just get rid of those. Turn off the visibility of the background. Turn on this. Turn this up so we can see what we're doing. And make another layer underneath the colour lines, the colour art layer now. And we're just going to fill these in really quickly. These characters again, really quickly, because I need to go out as well. So let's just do that quickly. Just going to paint them in nicely. Oh, I could have done the other arm. Let's just imagine her arms behind that one. Yeah, her arms are extremely long, I must say, but you know, it's okay for this simple picture we're doing here. It's okay. This, as I say, we don't need to colour in. We're just literally colouring what we need to have. So yeah, I'll just do a blue or something for the trousers there. It's rough. This is a rough one. You can do things much more neater, as I say. I'm really roughly doing it, just filling them in. Okay, just quickly, guys, just to show you. Okay. I'm not going too detailed at all with this one. Even going over the guy's hands there a little bit, which is not too good with me, but you know, can change those in a moment. Just doing a few simple colours here. Can work on different layers, as I say, when you're doing colours as well, which is a good thing to do. I'm going to go with some lighter colours as well, because we need to, you know, show certain things. So I think even a white would be good. So a white on the buggy. It might not show up now, but it will show up in a moment. You can like turn that off obviously and turn this back on and see what you got, you know, or just faintly see what you got, sort of thing. And for real art, you may want to, when you really real art, when you're doing a real picture, you might want to really, you know, oh, excuse me, I've done that wrong there. We must remember what layer you're on. It's very important to remember what layer you're on. But I was going to say, you know, this guy's hair there. I'm just doing a really rough one, as I say, really rough here, really rough. Okay, because I want to just show you what it is, and I need to go out in a moment. As I say, I need to go out somewhere. But get the idea though, right? Just here maybe go for some of the skin colours again, go over that, fix it up a bit, you know. Okay, and yeah, you know, as I say, you can change certain things if you want to change certain things. If you really want to change certain things, you can, you know. And this, you see. And what I was going to say is, you know, see, when you've got a background, you may want to have it slightly faint anyway, so you might do like that, you see, to bring it out. Or again, as I say, adding a slight blur more to the background, or just making the, you don't want to make the background stand out too super strong. You see what I'm trying to say? You don't want the background to stand out super strong when you're having the characters, you know, stronger in the scene, you see. So we've not done any shadows or anything on the characters yet, or shading. We could do a bit of shadow on them as well. Give them a slight blur just to soften them up a little bit. Should merge those layers down first. I'm going to stop this video in a moment. Okay guys, I've got to go out, so give that a slight blur there. Duplicate that layer, go in, bring it darker, as I say, and we'll just start to erase now, a hard eraser, full opacity brush. I'll bring the darker one below, I think, so we know what we're doing, so we know where the shadows go, and just start erasing to show shadowy type areas. Even shadows on the road is what I should do. I'll do that in a moment, because they are in the scene, aren't they? So, you know, do that in a moment. Okay, do a bit of shadow there. I can just simply go on another layer with a black there and make it very low opacity, and do that very low opacity, whatever, you know, and do that there. you know, and then you got that. Merge that down, merge them down, bring that slightly brighter maybe, the characters, and yeah, play with that a little bit until you're happy with that, you know. I like it soft, to be honest with you, but you know, again, you can also play with the softness of them a little bit if you need to, you know. Oh, we're going on the wrong layer. Am I? Hang on. Just playing around with that a little bit. I'm going to flatten this image. Okay, I'm going to bring this, play with the levels on this one now. I'm going to save this as the final image is what I'm going to do. I'm going to save that over that. I'm just playing with this contrast a little bit. You see this, bringing the contrast back up a bit anyway. Duplicate that layer. Last bit, go to color adjustment, curves. Wow, see, getting some kind of stuff going on. A bit over the top maybe, but going in with that soft eraser now to reveal, with a soft eraser to reveal certain areas. And yeah, you see it's giving them more, it's giving a painted sort of area, painted look to it again. You know, just work it. So I like those trees, I do. This could have been much better, as I remember. This could, as I said earlier, as I mentioned, it could have been much earlier, much better, as I say. You could do, as I say, a bit of a glow or something here. Excuse me, little bits of glows and stuff, like a bit of a glow. Hold on, just little bits to show certain areas and stuff. If you want to do that, this doesn't need much of a glow there, but you know. So I've been bringing that down, so just showing certain areas, merging that all down as one, going to levels. As I say, still not too late. It's a bit of a rough one, this, it's not worth doing it much on, but it's still not too late to like add more detail. I was going to say you could have like a dark areas, like, you know, like I said, like having darker areas to show more detail. Hang on, I'll show you, like more little darker areas, like little cracks and stuff, like here I'm painting in. Don't know if you can see that, like on here. See, things like that, little details and stuff you might want to do in there, make those stand out a bit more. Or it depends what you want to do. You don't have to go crazy with that though. The same with the shines and stuff, little faint little shines and things like that, little, I don't know, little areas you might want to add in there, you know. But you don't want to get carried away, so painting these details on. Again, like other little grassy areas or things where there's like weeds or I don't know, something growing up from there. You know, with greens and, you know, different things like that growing from wherever they're growing. You know, it's doing certain things like that. You might not want to have that, but you know, raise certain areas maybe. Okay, so that's the picture right there. You know, going over that, putting a bit of a you know, glowy sort of, I don't know, something or other there. Put a bit of a just areas just to fix it up a little bit. I'm going to merge that now and just save that as it is. If you want to mess around with colours and stuff anymore, you can try that. I'm not going to do too much more, it's done now I think. Did that there. One more bit and I'll just hit save in a moment. There's the output. A bit over the top I know with this I've done now, but go back to that and hit save. Okay, and that's going to be the image. I wasn't going to add characters. I was, and then I wasn't, and I did. Could add like a blurriness to the background if you wanted to make that a bit more blurry. If you wanted to do that as well for the background, but I'm not going to do it for this one. It's okay. There's the full image. I've got to go now. I've got to go out. Okay. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you've really enjoyed this one. Rough, simple, bit of fun. Thanks for watching. Yeah. So there she is. just a rough image. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this session.